consult with counsel. So I'm not sure, because you never know what goes on behind closed doors, why they allowed him to start talking to the media and to counsel, but I think that might have been why. We filed we filed the motion before the deadline. The judge, and so right now they're currently responding to it, so do not keep up the pressure. So the judge and the prosecutor, Mike Sepik, know that they have to respond, and they are responding. And this could mean that they can throw out the sentence, like I said, or give a retrial. So that's all illegal, that they shipped him to Jackson State Prison. Pinckney is 66 years old, and so a 2.5 to 10-year sentence is a lot of time. This was the reason for this large range of time is to send a message. And this is all about sending a message. All of this from the beginning has been about sending a message to the community to be afraid and to Pinckney to be afraid. And the message is that we'll give you 2.5 years at 66 years old if you shut your mouth and you don't protest from prison. And if you don't shut your mouth and keep protesting, it's going to be 10. And Reverend Pinckney begged me, he said, I want you to tell the world, Daniela. He calls me Danielle. He doesn't do the A, but he goes, Danielle, you tell the world. Do not give in to their fear tactics. Do not stop anything. We are fighting a larger war to tax Whirlpool, which pays no taxes to the city or federal income tax while the community suffers in Benton Harbor. The larger war he speaks about is to restore democracy and racial justice to Michigan cities and free trade, bring back American manufacturing, jobs, etc. So he said, do not give in to their fear tactics. Benton Harbor is in worse shape, but Benton Harbor is a microcosm, make no mistake about it, of America and what America is going to look like if we don't fight back now. This is the fight. It's a vision of things to come. Benton Harbor is Pottersville from It's a Wonderful Life. It's every one of those metaphors. Reverend Pinckney is fighting for democracy in a company town. I'd like to thank some of the activists, because there's a lot that they did to reduce what could have possibly happened. And don't think you didn't help. They're trying to create propaganda as if what the activists are crazy liberals or don't know what's going on. They're trying to paint a picture. We had over 100 letters flooded to the judge from around the country and 10 different nations. He says over 100. We don't know the number. That could be 167. That could be 190. We don't know what he means by that. But Judge Chirac made a big deal of these letters in local press coverage and in the news. Every news show he's on, mainstream news, he says, I got over 100 letters. But he has to find a way to put them down, right, Webster? So he says they came from outside of Benton Harbor. So this is just a tactic to say that nobody in the community is on Reverend Pinckney's side. But the truth is that everybody in southwest Michigan in Benton Harbor is afraid. They have been victims for decades of institutional racism, poverty, harassment by the Whirlpool Corporation's henchmen like Judge Chirac, and Pinckney is the last person that's standing up. So that's what's going on. And he had 50 or more people outside the courtroom, and Dorothy reported to me that the court room was packed, and outside the courtroom on the street, or the courthouse, on the street, there were over 50. So I don't have a total count on that. But here's what's going on. Pinckney has enemies in high places. Do not underestimate how high this goes. The corruption goes up to the highest levels of government and corporate collusion. We've had a hit piece written by the Heritage Foundation the other day, Webster. The Heritage Foundation itself wrote a hit piece saying Pinckney is guilty of election fraud. And it says these crazy liberal activists are coming to his defense. Pinckney was no crazy liberal, Democrat, Republican. He was fighting for justice. This article was clearly written by somebody which interested me.
Well, we know, Danielle, I went through, Hans von Spakovsky is a well-known hack. He's been on C-SPAN. He's all over the place. Thank you very much. I think we've covered the waterfront. So we'll see you again next week, huh? And we'll try to get some good news for the...
Alex Jones here. For the last 2 years, I've been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to design a nutraceutical formulation that has truly life-changing health benefits. So many other formulations out there contain toxic ingredients, synthetic additives, and even GMOs. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. Now is the time to secure ancient defense for you and your family. Visit InfoWarsLife.com or call 1-888-253-3139. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Have you ever felt like the United States government knows way too much about your financial affairs? I continue to hear stories about property seizures, frozen bank accounts, confiscation of stocks and bonds. It makes me wonder if the U.S. citizen will ever again have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Unfortunately, with the Drug and Money Laundering Act, the IRS Revenue Ruling 6045 of 1984, and the Trading with the Enemy Act and Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order of 1933, some precious metal holdings are subject to government intervention. For this reason, Midas Resources has prepared a report explaining the boundaries of trading precious metals privately. Whether if you have any intention of trading with Midas Resources or not, I have instructed my representatives to give this report out free. Call for your free copy at 1-800-686-2237. When investing, always proceed with caution. Again, call 1-800-686-2237. Exercise your legal right to trade metals privately. 1-800-686-2237.
Pick up the receiver. With your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead, you finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason! Jason! Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
What good is a Big Berkey water filter?
We get that question a lot here at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And in a word, the answer is protection. Protection from water main breaks, E. coli contamination, environmental chemical spills, pesticide runoff, chlorine taste and smell, and all forms of fluoride. Plus, Big Berkey water filters are the original gravity water filter system and most trusted on the market for a reason. Tested by multiple independent NSF EPA certified labs, they are the gold standard in water purification. At only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. That means big savings. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get a Big Berkey today at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. GCN listeners receive 5% off all ceramic filter systems. Visit our website or call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
We are America's largest independently owned communications network, GCN.
Welcome back to World Crisis Radio. Webster, Tarpley here in Washington, D.C. So there you have it. This is the situation. So, again, get any honest journalist, get the facts. You can go to the Free Pinckney WordPress site. You can go to my site. You can find this. Look up Pinckney. You'll get to us quite easily. I should have mentioned, right, von Spakovsky, the von, right, the V-O-N. The V-O-N means he's a nobleman. That was what I was trying to get at, right? The East Elbian Junker possibility there, or some other equally dubious, from a democratic point of view, background. So that's the guy from the Heritage Foundation, right? A very well-known person. He is the co-author with John Fund, another well-known hack. You've seen him around too. Obama's Enforcer, Eric Holder's Justice Department, by Hans von Spakovsky and John Fund. So you get the idea, right? That they're bringing out their big guns. And notice the contradiction. The judge says there was no support for Pinckney in the town, and von Spakovsky freaks out saying, why, they were all there supporting Reverend Pinckney, and don't tell me they all came from outside, right? The old outside agitator line, right? So we had Bull Connor, move over Bull Connor. We've had Joe Arpaio, Maricopa, move over Joe. We've got Sheriff Paul Bailey. Now let's continue on our economic point now. Russia is making a mistake to the extent that they don't institute capital controls and exchange controls. This would be, first and foremost, a service that Russia can do for itself. Obviously, though, the deeper issue is the Putin formula for governing the country is essentially the statists, the ones that I support, the people who are part of the old Soviet government, Soviet security services, Red Army, and the party, right? A lot of them are interested in dirigistic solutions, right? That would be Glaziev. Glaziev is a dirigist. He's not a communist. He represents what you could call the German or American school. Friedrich List, people of this type, Henry Carey, Alexander Hamilton, sure. So that's one group. But then there's this other group. There's the group that was created by the shock therapy. In other words, out of the defeat and the breakup of the Soviet Union came another group, the oligarchs, the shock therapy practitioners, right? That would be Yegor Gaidar, Anatoly Chubais. You can read about this in the book that I contributed to, right? Market Bolshevism, the tragedy of Russia's reforms. And what they did was nomenclatura privatization. Now, as long as it was Khodorkovsky, he was attempting to come into the political realm, right? Because Khodorkovsky says, I own all the oil in the country. I'm the richest man in Russia. If I see Berlusconi as head of Italy, Khodorkovsky, should be the head of Russia. Well, no. You go to Siberia for 10 or 12 years. Good. But they're still there. And Chubais, you should remember, Chubais was the one who carried out the nomenclatura privatizations. In other words, the massive theft of the state property of the Soviet Union, right? Huge raw materials deposits, considerable heavy industry, all kinds of valuable, important assets. Chubais shepherded the process by which these were essentially stolen from the Soviet people and given to this new nomenclatura oligarchy of theft, right, and usury and what have you. So those guys are still there, and they want to see the neoliberal rules maintained. So what's going on in Moscow, I'm, from afar, venturing surmise here, that it's the statists against the ripoff artists. In other words, it's the people who are concerned about the long-term health and well-being of the Russian people and the Russian economy against this other group who say there are universal laws. This is Medvedev. I guess Medvedev is in some ways the leader of this, maybe not the leader, but the figurehead of the group. Where Medvedev said in a recent session at the Kremlin, there are objective laws of economic development which we cannot change. That's ridiculous. That's, what can we call this? The British poison. Angliski yad. Angliski yad is the poison of free market, free trade doctrine, which never developed anybody. Whereas the German school made Germany into the greatest industrial power of Europe, American school, U.S. greatest industrial power in the world until last month, and so on down the line. In other words, that's the development economics that actually work. The Glaziev approach, as we've said, is, first of all, exchange controls, capital controls. Actually, Glaziev even goes further. He's got an idea saying, if you want to export capital out of Russia,